Is Los Angeles prepared for a 7.5 magnitude quake? Could emergency agencies and workers cope with the damage, injuries, and deaths that would inevitably occur? And which buildings and structures would be able to withstand the shaking? To understand what would happen to structures, engineers at the University of California at San Diego's Engelkerk Center have created the world's most powerful shake tables. These are special platforms that subject building materials and even buildings to simulated quakes.
This is the shake table that moves back and forth to simulate the ground motion. You wouldn't want to be here during an actual test because it would be like being at the epicenter of an earthquake. A pretty frightening experience, for sure.
This 7-story building was constructed on the world's only outdoor shake table. Engineers used structures like this to see how buildings would hold up during an actual quake. In another section of the university, at the Powell Structural Research Laboratories, other shake table tests are being conducted.
What we're testing here are components which are being used to protect our structure against earthquakes. We call it our seismic response modification devices, like big rubber bearings, big sliding bearings, big dampers like oversized car shock absorbers, which we build into our big structures like bridges or dams or buildings to protect these structures against the seismic load input.
Tests like the ones conducted at UC San Diego aid structural engineers and ultimately help shape California's building code. In Los Angeles, Nick Deli-Quadri, Engineering Bureau Chief at the Department of Building and Safety, helps to enforce the code. He also has his concerns about the possible effects from a Puente Hills earthquake on LA's older buildings.
We've developed standards with the engineering community for strengthening non-ductile concrete buildings. We work with those engineers. We use those standards whenever we have the opportunity for a building that's going to be changed to a different type of use or remodeled.
Downtown LA is experiencing an economic boom, and many older commercial buildings are being remodeled, restored, and converted to residential use.
This is a historic hotel that's being converted to residential lofts. As you can see, it looks like it's a brick facade on it, but it's actually a concrete building. They're adding strengthening to this building by putting in concrete shear panels between the columns and the floors. There's an example of it here with reinforcing steel.
The Retrofit project is aimed at preventing a collapse during a quake. Not every building can be retrofitted. After the Northridge earthquake, Parker Center, the LAPD's downtown headquarters, was found to be beyond retrofitting. It's scheduled for demolition. Meanwhile, a new emergency operations center is being built to the latest seismic safety standards.
It uses a base isolation system which reduces the earthquake forces that go into the building and reduces some of the design requirements on the building itself.
Base isolators act as shock absorbers, so that during an earthquake, the movement of the ground is dissipated into the base isolators, not the building above them.
The Emergency Operations Center is supported on 64 base isolators. There are 64 of these pendulum base isolators that are used to support the building.
As for LA's steel frame high-rises, there is currently debate in the scientific community as to how they would perform in a 7.5 quake. During the Northridge earthquake, more than 120 such buildings had joint failures. But does that mean they would collapse?
The key issue is whether the building will fall or whether it will endanger the occupants. And our feeling, I'm talking about an industry feeling, based on even the performance of the steel frame buildings during the Northridge earthquake, is that we will not experience collapses.
But not everyone is so sure. During a 7.5 earthquake, The ground surface in downtown LA could actually move anywhere from 5 to 10 feet relative to the earth below. And though tall buildings are designed to sway like the proverbial palm tree, beyond certain parameters, there could be a breaking point.
The majority of steel frame buildings, we'd see some fracture of the welded connections. What would happen next, we're not quite sure. Some of the simulations say that it's feasible that some of the steel frame buildings could actually collapse.
For the time being, the debate will continue and won't be resolved until the earthquake actually occurs.
It will cause a lot of destruction, and so we have to deal with a major disaster, and we have to be prepared for that.